Hi everybody, very welcome to Mentor and yet another video podcast. As always, I hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. So today on the video, guys, I'm going to be talking about the news from Aberdeen Airport about an ex-Flybe Bombardier Q400 that took a very lonely trip across the ramp to crash into a Embraer ERJ-145. How can something like that happen and what can we learn from it? Stay tuned.
Wind 31016, everyone right, right on.
Third land, 31 right. Delta 216, produced.
Right, guys. So what seems to have happened was that on the 16th of June, there was a lot of people working on a ex-Flybe Bombardier Q400 aircraft up in Aberdeen Airport. And we know very little details about what was actually going on, but there is CCTV footage of this incident out on the internet now. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you that video because if you go in and you look for it and you find these videos, you'll see that Aberdeen Airport has gone in and requested all of the channels that have uploaded that video to take it down because it's part of an ongoing investigation. Now, I have full kind of understanding of that. However, I doubt that they will be able to stop it because once something is on the internet, as you know, it stays on the internet. But anyway, these people were working around the aircraft, and at some point, the aircraft starts moving, right? There's probably a little bit of an incline on the ramp in Aberdeen. And you can see how the ramp workers are desperately trying to stop it from moving by going up and holding up against the landing gear on both the left and the right hand side. There seems to be people working inside of the aircraft as well. We don't know if that's engineers or if there's cleaners, but we know that there are people inside because you can see that the air stairs are down, and after a few seconds when the aircraft started to move, there's someone jumping out of the aircraft as well, running up to the nose cone and trying to hold up against it. Now, I fully understand why the rampers wanted to try to stop the aircraft, but a Bombardier Q400 weighs empty about 17.8 tons. So if it has to start to move, that's going to be a lot of force to stop. All right, it would probably take a whole Scottish football team to stop that aircraft from moving. But I understand the will to try anyway. But they quite quickly understand that the aircraft is accelerating down the ramp. It's heading toward stand 11 in Aberdeen, where there is a Loganair Embraer ERJ-145 parked at gate. And the aircraft unfortunately doesn't stop until it has crashed into the ERJ-145. It lodges itself under the right-hand engine of the ERJ. Now, there was no one hurt in this incident. That's one of the main reasons I can do a video about it, because it's an ongoing investigation. But I am guessing that there was some quite substantial damage to both aircraft. So, how can something like this happen? Well, the reason I'm wanting to do a video about this, guys, is that even though we don't know exactly what the background to this was, there's a couple of things that are really important to understand. And that is, you have to keep respecting an aircraft and any machinery of this size, really, even when it is parked. And when it comes to aircraft, it is extremely important that we have what we call chocks around the tires. Now, chocks are usually kind of wedge-looking things. They're made out of wood or rubber, and we just put them in front and behind of the tires of any aircraft who's parked for any length of time. You have to put them at least on 2 tires, as in normally when we do a turnaround, for example, we put them around the nose gear and one of the main gears, and it could be between, behind or in front of both main gears as well, because you can't just put them around one, because it could start moving around its own axis. Not in the case of the nose gear, but for security, you want to have it on at least 2 tires. All right. The reason why that is so important is because of a feature of the parking brake system of most aircraft. And this goes for the 737 that I'm flying as well. So when we set the parking brake on one of these aircraft, what we do is essentially is that we push down the toe brakes, and then you put the parking brake in place, and that just holds the pressure on the toe brakes. That's essentially what it is. Like it's not a separate brake, it's just the normal brake system, and that works fine as long as you have hydraulic pressure applied to the system. But of course, if you park the aircraft overnight or any length of time, really, the parking brake pressure that is being held is not being held by the hydraulic pumps anymore, because they are turned off, but by the brake pressure accumulator. And depending on how long you wait, that brake pressure is going to seep out. There is no system that is perfect. It's going to seep out. It might take hours, might take days, but it's going to disappear. And once it has disappeared, the parking brake is going to release. It's as easy as that. So this is why it is so important to make sure that there are chocks on. And actually, it is the responsibility of me, the commander, to make sure that before I leave the aircraft is chocked in place. And the way that we do that is that we park the aircraft, we wait for the ground crew to give the signs that they have put the chocks in place, and then we tend to release the parking brake. Because when you release the parking brake, then you will see what the aircraft is going to do with no parking brake. So if it starts moving, well, then you hold on the brakes and you tell the ground crew to make sure that it's properly chocked again. But if you release the parking brake and it's not moving, well, then it's not going to move, and you can leave it like that with good confidence that it's not going to move. Right. Now, the Q400, I'm not type rated on the Q400, but I believe that has a special system where there is a manual pump in the main wheel well bay that you can pump in order to increase the pressure for the parking brake. I don't think that anyone would have ever come up with the idea of doing that while the aircraft started moving, and I'm not even sure that would have worked if they would have tried it. And also, I saw that there were some comments about the person who was inside of the aircraft, that he should have jumped into the cockpit and put the brakes on. But the fact is that if there's no brake pressure in the system, it doesn't matter how much you press the brakes. Nothing is going to happen anyway. So, what do I want to say with this then? Well, what I want to say is that if you're working on the ramp, or if you're a pilot, or indeed if you're a passenger, and you see that an aircraft is not chocked, tell someone, all right? Because these things, this is not an isolated occurrence. Actually, it happens a few times every year that aircraft, normally during night, start making their own way across a ramp and end up either on the grass or into a wall or into another parked aircraft. So making sure that the aircraft is properly chocked is absolutely crucial. And also, this shows how important it is to have some technical knowledge about the aircraft that you're operating. You need to understand that these things can happen. So I did a video very recently about the hydraulic system of the 737. If you're interested in these kind of technical details of why these kind of things happen and how we deal with it if a hydraulic system would fail in flight, or if it would have a complete hydraulic failure, well, then go and check that video out. All right, it's really full with nice technical details for anyone who's interested in that. Now I am going to return to just chilling in my hammock, listening to the Blinkist app at the moment, actually. I hope that you've had a chance to check out Blinkist. They're a sponsor of this channel, and it's an amazing app. If you use the link that I have provided here below, well, then you will get 1 week for free with Blinkist and a 25% discount if you choose to subscribe to them. It's really, really good. Like, I use it all the time. They have more than 3,000 non-fictional books, which they have kind of distilled down to their most important points. So a book that will take you 2 days to read through only takes you about 15 minutes to listen to with Blinkist. It's really, really cool. And that's all I had today, guys. I hope that I've earned a subscription to you. Make sure that if you do subscribe, that you put the notification bell on. Otherwise, you might miss when I do these kind of special videos about incidents and accidents that's happening around the world. Have an absolutely fantastic day. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Pachi. Right, guys, I really hope that you liked that. If you want more content like that, more aviation content, well then, check this out. I hope that you have subscribed to the channel and that you've highlighted the little notification bell. See you inside of the Mentour Aviation app, and have an absolutely fantastic day. Bye-bye.